If you want an answer to the question, what is the difference between Western-style Muay Thai and Eastern-style Muay Thai? The best option is to compare their best representatives. And who do this better than Haggerty and Rodtang? The British general tested his blade against the indestructible Thai tank in a historic battle for the Flyweight World Title. The clash between the two giants took place at the beginning of August 2019 on the One Championship scene and will reverberate for centuries. Welcome to our fight analysis of a legendary East versus West duel. Let's start with a crucial point. The differences between Eastern and Western Muay Thai are subtle but significant. The Thais invented it, and the Westerners adopted and adapted it. The most important thing is that people practice it more and more, and that this beautiful but brutal art evolves day by day. But there's one major distinction we can't overlook: the way they spar and how they fight. But we left those interesting details for last. First, let's start with the fight. Right from the start, we can see one of the core differences in their approaches to the fight. A difference that will become even more obvious in the last rounds, and that is how they move. Eastern Thai fighters move much less. They stand in front of their opponents and play the game, who is the tougher man? And as we know, no one is tougher than Rodtang Jitmuangnon. He mostly tends to move forward and absorb or block incoming blows. Of course, no fighter in the world doesn't lean on his back foot from time to time and move backward. Not even Rodtang. However, many times he was forced to go back after explosive push kicks by Haggerty. If you watch the training sessions of the young Brit, you could notice that this kick is like his signature move. And considering the difference in height and reach, it served him well against shorter Rodtang, who loves moving forward. Considering how many kicks he absorbed, he remained composed and flat-footed, scanning Jonathan and thinking about counterattacks like they do in the East. On the other hand, when the Brit made Rodtang aware of this kick, Haggerty often faked it to shorten the distance and serve punches. This is another distinction that Western Muay Thai fighters practice. Influenced by Western boxing, they tend to throw a lot more punching combos. Of course, it depends on the fighter performing the technique, because Jonathan likes to finish the combination with a kick. Well, who can blame him? Just look at those flashy kicks. Notice how Jonathan moves to the side when throwing the jab and then moves back, but also to the side when Rodtang attacks. Western Thai fighters tend to move a lot more. Their movements allow them not to be hit and also open up for possible shots to deliver. This is their preferred method, and Haggerty is here to show ultimate skill and avoid punishment. Well, as much as he can avoid it with Rodtang in front of him. Throughout the first and second rounds, Rodtang was quiet with his punches. It took him a while to figure out Haggerty's reach, but while he was trying to figure him out, Rodtang used his sharp kicks. Here comes another difference between the styles. Eastern Thai fighters focus less on hands and more on kicks, knees, and elbows. But that changed in the third round when he started closing the distance. Whenever he got close to Jonathan, he would throw punches as if the Brit owed him money. Rodtang had announced before the fight that he had one mission: to knock out Haggerty. Consequently, as time passed, the pressure of the Thai fighter increased and Rodtang went for his head. Speaking of taking the head off the shoulders, Jonathan mostly aimed at Rodtang's head. This is another thing that is characteristic of the Western style. It's called head hunting. In Western culture, the head is seen as the essential life source of the person. Rodtang's combinations also went to the head, but he didn't forget to work the body. There is an interesting theory that goes against Western beliefs. That is, the life source of the man is more in the gut, which makes body blows more directed to the opponent's life source. Western fighters also shifted their focus from clinch and elbow strikes to punches and kicks. They simply transferred their kickboxing knowledge to Muay Thai. That doesn't mean that Jonathan didn't use his elbows, of course, but throughout the fight with Rodtang, the clinch was where he didn't want to be. Firstly, because he had a reach advantage that allowed him to shoot the opponent from a distance, and secondly, because the Thais are masters of clinch like no other. Being close to a Thai tank meant that the general would receive bombs or be swept off his feet. In the fourth round, Rodtang felt his body shots start to drain the aforementioned life source from Haggerty. Because when a man's head is resistant to blows, especially under the influence of adrenaline, the body becomes a vulnerable point. No matter how tough a fighter is, hard shots to the body will knock him down sooner or later. Rodtang slowly began to take on the role of the aggressor, which is completely opposite of the Eastern style. They mostly use a more measured pace, keep a good balance, and execute complex techniques. They are patient and maximally dedicated to technique. They prefer scoring points through technical strikes rather than laying siege to their opponent in a rush to finish him. Except for Rodtang here, who wanted to finish Haggerty, but not so much as to overwhelm him with excessive aggression. Kudos to Haggerty for daring to be aggressive against someone like Rodtang though. But all that aggression wore him down, so in the final rounds, he did the exact opposite of what he was doing in the beginning. He stopped standing in front of Rodtang and started moving around him a lot more. As we said, Western fighters incorporate their footwork to reduce punishment, and they move a lot more than Eastern fighters. Just because Jonathan got tired didn't mean he was going to give up. On the contrary, he stayed in the fight until the very end and gave it his all. However, Rodtang's plan was simple: to corner his opponent against the ropes of the cage and feed him Thai punches whenever he got the chance. In General's defense, his jab, cross, and push kicks remained sharp even in the last minute of the fight. Do you know what the best highlight of every Muay Thai fight is? Apart from brutal exchanges, blood, sweeps, elbows, and everything else that makes this sport wonderful, it's the respect that fighters show each other. There is no difference between Western and Eastern Muay Thai fighters when it comes to respect. It is one of the main pillars wherever you may be training. At the end of the glorious fight, it comes as icing on a delicious cake. While the announcement and celebration of the winners goes on in the One Championship ring, let's touch on the last difference in today's video. Western Muay Thai fighters are generally dynamic and more aggressive in their approach. They focus on keeping pressure on the opponent using constant striking combinations and mobility. Just like Jonathan showed in the first 2 rounds when he was the one dictating the fight. This style is influenced by Western boxing techniques that support high-volume striking. They also tend to stay light on their feet. You should see what it looks like when Western Muay Thai fighters spar. Simply put, a fight for life and survival. On the other hand, if you have ever sparred in Thailand or with a fighter originating from there, you must have been surprised by their way of training. They are so sensitive and moderate that they can spar without protective equipment. And no one gets hurt. Their sparring is more of a tactical outwitting of the opponent than an assassination attempt. Their approach is playful, but at the same time, extremely serious. From this, we can conclude that both fight the way they train. Westerns are aggressive, and Easterns are calm tacticians. It is important to note that Eastern Muay Thai fighters do not need heavy sparring, and this is because they fight much more often than Western fighters, and also start fighting much earlier. For them, regular fights are replaced by fierce sparring. And you don't need to be a Muay Thai expert to know how often Thais fight. If you enjoyed this video, you can support us by giving us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments what you find are the biggest differences between Eastern and Western Muay Thai fighters. And let us know which fight you'd like us to analyze next. See you in the next video.